My name is Chloe Parker. I'm 32 and I live in a small apartment downtown in Austin, Texas. Early this week, while checking my email on Tuesday morning, a yellow-flagged message from Gmail caught my eye. You're invited to Emily's wedding. Join us virtually. It was the live stream link for my half-sister Emily Miller's wedding. My heart skipped a beat. My father, Robert Miller, had never publicly mentioned Emily quite like this before. Venue capacity limitations, he'd explained hastily over the phone. We only have so many in-person seats. Everyone else has to watch online. I wondered silently, why am I the only one excluded? Emily is just 19, a freshman at the University of Texas, while I'm a seasoned freelance graphic designer. I sifted through memories those weekend evenings at Dad's Hill Country Estate, where I was ushered through the parlor and promptly relegated to the guest room. Album photos replaced by new family portraits featuring my stepmother, Erica. And the last time I felt truly welcomed at the main dining table was 2 years ago at Grandma's memorial. Now I was to sit before my laptop screen, a glass of champagne in hand, watching the wedding that should have been for both my sister and me. I exhaled, ran a quick technical check, smooth audio wide-angle shots, capturing the white carpeted lawn and wrought iron chairs below. A drone's eye view revealed the estate's lush gardens, outdoor banquet tables, and the soft Texas sunlight dancing on bluebonnet clusters. I sat up straight, my pulse racing. Why did I feel a strange mix of excitement and dread? Perhaps for the first time since Dad left, I was being allowed a glimpse of my own family's celebration, albeit through a screen. I scooted my chair closer, laptop on my lap, and clicked play. The glow from the screen washed over my face, every detail of Emily's gown sparkling in my eyes. But deep inside, I sensed something was off, waiting to be revealed. The live stream rolled on, but little did I know that in mere moments it would freeze forever, unmask all the secrets, and launch me into a new chapter of my own story. I still remember the day my mother, Karen Parker, sobbed in our tiny kitchen down in central Austin. I was just 14, perched on a stool, gripping an untouched sketchbook. My father, Robert Miller, quietly set his worn leather bag on the table, avoiding eye contact. "Chloe, your mother and we're not compatible anymore," he stammered. I remained silent, not fully grasping what not compatible meant. In the weeks before, things had seemed normal between Mom and me. Weekend BBQs by the Colorado River coffee runs on South Congress, where we sampled new Austin pastries. But ever since Dad took on that hill country housing development, he'd grown distant, always tied up whenever I tried to share something about school. That day, the warm kitchen felt suddenly empty. Mom slumped into a chair, tears streaking down her cheeks. I watched silently as she wiped them away, determined to appear strong, despite my own turmoil. Dad offered to find a new place for Mom and me, "But please understand, sweetheart," he said. How could I understand when I feared our perfect family was crumbling? As he opened the door to leave, I bolted after him, grabbing his hand. "Didn't you always say family lasts forever?" I choked out. He gently pulled away and walked on without a word. That image etched itself into my memory, his retreating back down the hallway, the door's sharp click and my mother's muted sigh. The divorce stole more than our home. It stole the safety and trust I once had in him. All those sweet memories turned to ashes, leaving a hollow void. And in that moment, I vowed I would never let myself be erased from my own life ever again. After Dad moved to that hill country estate, life for Mom and me felt completely separate. One autumn afternoon when I was 16, my phone buzzed nonstop. I heard Mom's hoarse voice, "Chloe, your father is having his wedding this weekend." My heart twisted. He was marrying again. On the wedding day, I perched on a folding chair in our small living room, staring through the window at the Texas coral tree and stone fence in the distance. Erica, A bright young real estate attorney walked down the floral aisle, her smile radiant. Dad looped his arm through hers, eyes full of joy yet distant. I stood silently, feeling like an invisible guest. The reception that followed was lively with a bluegrass band, but I quietly nursed a soda in the corner. Less than a year later, congratulations came over the phone. Chloe, you have a baby sister now. Emily Miller was born on a warm morning, her tiny cries and chubby face like a ripe peach. Mom blinked tears of happiness while I forced a smile over the video call. From that moment on, I knew Emily would command all the family's attention. Dad posted every photo of his newborn on Instagram with hashtags Ciao Baby Miller and Ciao New Prayers. Erica plastered Emily's pictures across Facebook, calling her our little angel. I looked at my own phone, my heart sinking when I saw the Chloe and Emily album contained just one photo, me holding Emily at my birth, 16 years ago. Whenever I visited, I was escorted to the upstairs sitting room, looking down at the main parlor where Emily played with wooden blocks. Erica gently patted my shoulder. Chloe, you must love your sister. I nodded, swallowing my sadness. Deep inside, I longed for a moment at the dinner table beside Emily, not as a guest, but as her real sister. And so I vowed I would never let myself become a ghost in this house. When Emily grew up, I would be the sister she could truly trust. Living with Mom in our modest 3-bedroom home in East Austin life was minimalistic toasted bread with homemade jam for breakfast, clipping Walmart coupons on the fridge in summer, and weekend visits to the farmer's market for local fruit. Our aging car coughed smoke in heavy rain, and our most extravagant plan was a camping trip at McKinney Falls State Park. Beyond my freelance graphic design work, I took odd jobs babysitting the neighbor's toddler walking dogs to earn extra tuition money. In stark contrast, visiting my father's hill country estate left me breathless, a white limestone driveway, a resort-sized pool, and meticulously sculpted bonsai trees. Inside, French wine lined the cellar, crystal chandeliers sparkled in the living room, and a Model X EV charged in the glass-walled garage. Dinner was a 3-course affair prepared by a private chef paired with Napa Valley vintages, while a bluegrass band provided ambiance. Rather than coupons, my stepmother Erica gifted me boutique store vouchers. Those worlds ran parallel, never overlapping. With my mother, I was the resilient daughter earning scholarships through hard work. With my father, I was a secondary guest, only invited under formal circumstances. Yet this division forged my character. I learned to treasure simplicity and cultivate the ambition to build my future on my own merits. No one gave me anything for free, but I understood the value of labor and integrity. So when the live stream froze and exposed every hidden secret, I was ready not as a shadow lost between two families, but as Chloe Parker, the one who could bridge both worlds and rewrite her own story. After Mom recovered her health, I poured all my energy into my freelance graphic design career. Austin was booming with startups, and I quickly built a reputation for my minimalist yet classic style. Mornings found me holed up with my MacBook Pro at Joe's Coffee, afternoons at WeWork discussing app interfaces with fintech teams. I took pride in earning enough to cover my rent, pay UT Austin for my master's in design, and even treat Mom to nicer meals now and then. Then one Friday night at a Techstars networking event on South Congress, I struck up a conversation with Michael Davis. He was leading a project to develop a digital payment platform for a startup seeking investment. Michael was tall and lean, with tousled brown hair falling over his forehead and a smile as natural as sunshine after rain. Above the bar's din, he asked Chloe, "I saw your portfolio on Dribbble. Your clean style is impressive. Want to review some wireframes together?" Our initial chat revolved around color palettes, typography, and user experience. But soon he opened up about his own family story. His mother passed away when he was young. His father lived in New York, and he had to fend for himself since his freshman year. I felt a deep connection. Both of us knew the value of self-reliance and daily effort. We exchanged numbers and began meeting for weekend coffees, trips to the farmer's market, and UX workshops. Michael always listened patiently whenever I spoke of family pressures and painful memories. He never judged. Instead, he offered genuine feedback and was eager to help me test new ideas. It was during those collaborative sessions that I discovered the warmth and trust I had been yearning for. Michael became more than a client or colleague. He became a friend and a partner, standing by me through every high and low. I realized our relationship would shape the road ahead in ways I couldn't yet imagine. About 2 months before Emily's wedding, odd signals began to creep into my life. Michael, always reliable and honest, suddenly grew secretive. He told me he had to fly to Dallas next week for a partnership meeting, then another important conference in Houston the week after. At first, I chalked it up to the hustle of a startup, but unease mounted as his travel schedule coincided suspiciously with every pre-wedding event hosted by my father and Erica. Erica, my stepmother, occasionally sent birthday cards with notes like, "Hope Chloe can join more family events." What struck me was that she'd never reached out before. Then one evening, while trying on an outfit for the virtual wedding preview party, my phone buzzed with an email, a hotel confirmation for 2 at the Driscoll in downtown Austin. I muttered, "But Michael said he'd be in Chicago, right?" I went back through our message history, his promises, "I'll call you every night. I can't skip this critical meeting." Yet hidden in my archived chats was a thread with a mysterious account named Riley Investor discussing investment opportunities in Hill Country and arranging a meeting with Richard. A wave of conflicting emotions washed over me, love, trust, and then doubt. Moreover, recent calls from my father had changed tone. Instead of inquiring about my work, he only asked how Michael was preparing for the wedding and if he felt comfortable. The questions seemed polite, but carried a clear subtext. Dad wanted Michael as a trusted ally between our 2 households. I wondered, was this genuine affection or a covert arrangement? As these strange signals piled up, a crucial decision took root in my mind. I needed to uncover the full truth before that frozen live stream image revealed every concealed secret. With Emily's wedding imminent, I decided to turn the online viewing into my own personal event. That morning, I woke up early and chose a navy cocktail dress. Michael had gifted it to me on our 1-year anniversary. I applied light makeup, sharp eyeliner, and a soft pink lip. Standing before the mirror, I smiled at myself. For the first time in years, I dedicated a special moment just to me. Next, I arranged the living room. I laid down a beige wool rug and placed my laptop on the oak coffee table for a wide camera angle. Beside it, I arranged a bouquet of Texas bluebonnets, the emblem of spring in Austin, in a small glass vase. A Bluetooth speaker sat by the sofa, ready to play soothing fingerstyle guitar. I lit a lavender-scented candle to create a warm atmosphere. Then came the celebration menu. I poured a glass of Brut Rosé champagne alongside a plate of assorted cheeses and chilled green grapes. Nearby, I displayed a small platter of French macarons, homemade and frozen the day before. Everything was neatly arranged as though preparing for an important dinner party. At 1:30 p.m., I double-checked my internet connection and speaker volume. The live stream began at 1:45, the event company's logo filling the screen. I exhaled in relief. Soft background music played and drone footage slowly glided over the Hill Country gardens. I sipped my champagne, my gaze thoughtful. Through each frame, I saw well-dressed guests smiling and clinking glasses. But I also saw the distance between me and them. I was here alone without a welcome. Yet I reminded myself this celebration was mine. They wouldn't seat me at the head table. I would give myself the most prestigious seat right in front of my heart and the screen. I waved gently at the camera, smiling as if greeting my family. "Congratulations, Emily," and I was ready for whatever came next. At exactly 2:01 p.m., the live stream's background music shifted to a magical melody. I looked up, heart-pounding. My sister Emily, arm in arm with her fiancé Jackson, entered the frame beneath an arch of white roses. They met at the altar, sunlight filtering through leaves, making her wedding gown shimmer. I held my breath with every step, my chest tight, with bittersweet joy that wasn't mine to share. Then suddenly the screen froze. A single frame locked in time, Emily smiling brightly as Jackson bent down for their first kiss. In the audience row, I spotted Michael, my future husband, seated between Robert and Erica, beaming naturally. My heart stopped. I clenched my teeth to stay composed, but my vision blurred. I grabbed the remote to pause, then hit play again in vain. The image stayed still. Anyone watching would see the same Michael leaning forward, eyes fixed on the newlyweds. The diamond necklace Emily had gifted me on my 30th birthday glinting in the sun. It was undeniable. My hand trembled as I reached for my phone. I called Michael only to hear ringing with no answer. I texted Dad and Erica, "Why is he there?" But the messages delivered without reply. The silence pressed on my chest like a weight. That frozen frame didn't just expose Michael's betrayal, it tore away every family lie. In that hushed moment, I took a screenshot capturing every detail: Michael's intent gaze, Robert's arm around Erica. From that point on, there was no turning back. The frozen frame hadn't even thawed before I sat stunned, staring at that still image. My heart plummeted when I recognized Michael, my most trusted person, as a VIP guest at my sister's wedding. I couldn't cry. I only felt pointless betrayal engulf me. With trembling hands, I frantically hit pause, then play again, hoping the video would resume, but it wouldn't. I snatched up my phone and called Michael. The endless ringing gave no answer. Then I texted Michael, "Why are you there? You said you were in Chicago." The 3 dots flickered, message sent, but no reply. The emptiness pressed in each second, stretching infinitely. I messaged my dad next. "Dad, why is Michael seated at Emily's wedding in English so Erica wouldn't see?" I craved an explanation, but only a single tick appeared. That silence felt crushing. I set the phone down and pivoted around the living room. The blue bonnet, bouquet, and champagne glass suddenly seemed meaningless. Doubts began to form. Had Michael and Dad schemed behind my back? Was our relationship ever genuine? Or was it part of some arrangement to keep me silent? I recalled Dad's recent calls only asking about Michael's wedding prep and Erica's sudden flurry of caring emails. All those puzzle pieces now formed a troubling picture. I exhaled and paced the living room. The quiet felt deafening. The initial shock was morphing into resolve. I couldn't sit idle. I would investigate every clue, uncover the real reasons, and refuse to be relegated to secondary ever again. Only by exposing all the secrets could I stand firm on my own 2 feet. After the live stream shock, I couldn't stay still. I started by combing through Michael's emails and schedule. In his inbox, I found a confirmation for a room at Hampton Bay Resort, just a mile from the Hill Country Estate, booked for 2. The email was sent on the exact day he claimed to be in Chicago. I bit my lip, took a screenshot, then deleted it, preserving the proof. Next, I logged into our shared Google Calendar. The investor meeting and client dinner events suddenly looked suspicious when I compared them to his text messages saying, "I'll call you after the meeting." Those supposed out-of-town meetings were actually in Austin, and no flights were ever booked. I casually asked my stepmother Erica about Michael's recent visits. Surprised by my question, she mentioned that at a recent dinner, she and Michael discussed collaboration opportunities with Robert. Erica said Michael repeatedly praised the visionary developments of Miller Development. I noted every detail. I then turned to social media. On Instagram, a behind-the-scenes shot from the rehearsal dinner showed Michael standing next to groomsman Jackson with a suitcase later deleted. On LinkedIn, an account named Riley Investor boasted about investing in Robert's project the very month we got engaged. I screenshot it all, filing it under evidence. Finally, I reached out to an old acquaintance who'd worked events for the Miller family in Hill Country. Discreetly, they confirmed a contract with Reeves Tech Solutions, Michael's startup, and a $50,000 investment from Robert to support the launch. The connection was clear. Each piece of evidence became a puzzle fragment, gradually forming a picture of a covert transaction. As I compiled everything, a renewed determination ignited. I would not only expose their deceit, but hold them accountable. From that moment, I embarked on a relentless legal investigation to reclaim justice for myself. I decided I couldn't wait another second and dialed Michael immediately. When he answered, his voice was calm. "Chloe, I was just on a business trip." I lost it, shouting, "A business trip." Then why did I get a Hampton Bay Resort confirmation for 2? Why were you sitting next to Dad and Erica? Silence stretched over the line. Finally, he stammered, I don't know how to explain." Unsatisfied, I called my father next. "Dad, you hired Michael to spy on me, didn't you?" I yelled. There was a heavy pause. Then he sighed. "Chloe, you have to understand. We just didn't want you contesting the inheritance." My chest tightened. "Contesting? Are you using money to cover up feelings?" I put us on speakerphone so both Michael and Dad could hear. I laid out every detail: the email, the fake travel schedule, Dad's $50,000 investment in Reeves Tech, and the rehearsal dinner photo. "You hired him so I wouldn't challenge Grandma's will?" I asked Robert. His voice shook. "We were worried you'd sue over the Hill Country house and her jewelry she meant for you." Erica suddenly cut in her tone, mocking Chloe. "Without Michael, your father wouldn't trust